Well, everyone, the time has finally come. The season is upon us. It is, for the first time in however many weeks, race week. And you better believe we are excited. There is still so much unknown to all of us F1 fans as to what we are going to walk into when Friday hits and we watch practice. And when Saturday comes and we have qualifying, who is going to be at the front? And then when we get to the race, who is going to be on that top step? We have it all to come. Predictions, everything. We're talking Drive to Survive. We have a show for you. But we are Box Podcast, powered by Box Club. If you do want an exclusive discount, then use the link in our description. But the app is completely free to use if you do just want to go and download it on the App Store or the Google Play Store. If you want to find us on social media, just search Box Pod on Instagram and Box Clips on TikTok for additional content daily. Anyway, no one wants to hang around. Let's get on with the show.
All right, guys, welcome along. Yeah, and I'm buzzing. It is race week, and look, let's get into talking about Drive to Survive, shall we? Because you've just finished watching it. That's where obviously we came from. That's all we are. You know,
we watch F1.
Many people say to us we're Drive to Survive fans, and actually,
I still
don't take it as an insult.
I still stand by the fact that it's just not an insult. Like, it's never an insult to someone for being a fan of something because of something. We're all like, it's no worse being an F1 fan because you watch Drive to Survive than it is because your dad put a race on when you were 6 years old. It makes no fucking difference. You're a fan of the show, brilliant.
And I think it's brought a lot of new faces and fans to the sport, so I don't think it's a bad thing at all. But let's get into some of the main talking points, and I want you guys to get involved at home. Do drop a comment, do let us know what your thoughts are. The Jack Doohan parts, like we've said last year, it is pretty brutal for him, the way he lost his seat and he was under so much pressure. You know, Briatore brought in 3 reserve drivers, and one of those being Colapinto, and as soon as you've got that, you're just under scrutiny from day one. And the bit I found sad in that is the amount of death threats he got in Miami. And I don't...
Yeah, which I didn't really... I didn't understand why. Why were there people with guns? Well, like, whether there were or not, but why were there allegedly people with guns? I don't really understand what was going on there. Like, where did they come from? Did Flavio Briatore send them? Were they Colapinto fans? Were they Paul Aron fans? I don't know.
It was mad, and I felt really sorry for him because I wasn't aware of all that stuff, and I always felt sorry for him anyway, simply because the amount of pressure he was under. But actually, watching that, he was set up to fail from the word go, wasn't he? He was set up to fail. He was never going to succeed in the sport, because when you look at Briatore with Colapinto and Gasly, that conversation of kind of, you're the problem. Like, he was absolutely brutal.
And this, I've got a couple of things to say on this, because number one, I think look, we all know Flavio Briatore's history in the sport. I don't think anyone is under the illusion that he's a great bloke, but I think the show really reinforced that in a world of Flavio Briatore's, be a Jonathan Wheatley. Do you know what I mean? I don't think I would have ever said Jonathan Wheatley, Abu Dhabi 2021. I've never wanted to strike a man more, but he was just doing his job and he did the best thing by his team. And I think when you see him, it's great because this is the first we've really seen Jonathan Wheatley kind of this intimately, right? You know, he's a big name in the sport, but we've never got to see him like this. And that was my main takeaway from that episode was, in a world of Flavio Briatore's, be a Jonathan Wheatley, because the guy is a good guy. And
he came across really well in it. And I think when you're...
Could you imagine the difference? Jack Doohan was a young man coming into the sport as a rookie. Gabriel Bortoleto was a young man coming into the sport as a rookie. Can you imagine how different they felt when their experience was on paper exactly the same. You know, they were both coming into F1 with teams that weren't at the front of the pack. It should have been about nurture. And Gabriel Bortoleto was probably sleeping at night like a baby, knowing that his team were there to back him up and support him. And Jack Doohan, oh my, to be fair, there probably came a point where he was like, do you know what? I'm glad I haven't got the seat.
Well, I think if Jack Doohan was in that stake team, he would still be in the sport, because I think Jonathan Wheatley would have nurtured him and actually allowed him to grow into the sport. And you've seen that with the likes of Toto Wolff, of Kimi Antonelli, because there was a big part in that where Kimi wasn't picking up points. He was struggling a lot, but they kept believing in him. They kept nurturing him, giving him the time. They know he's a young guy. It's his first season. And he came good towards the end of the season, started picking up those points. And that's what you want to see in a team principal. The issue is with Briatore, and we've said it, he's ruthless. Some people agree with it, some people don't. Let us know which side of the fence you're on that. But I think when you're looking at Briatore, if you're going to bring in someone, you've got to give them a chance. And Jack Doohan was... You did set him up to fail. I don't care what anyone says. Briatore set Jack Doohan up to fail. And that ultimately was the case. And when you bring in 3 reserve drivers, that shows to me that you do not have faith in your 2 main drivers. When you're bringing in 3 reserve drivers, you know that you've got a plan. And one of those being Colapinto. And you know the amount of support he had in this 2024 season. You knew he was basically going to get that seat. So for Jack Doohan, not only your pressure of actually being a rookie in F1, dealing with that amount of stress and pressure, you've also got Colapinto breathing behind your neck. And you can say F1 is brutal, that's what it's about, you really know the difference between boys and men and all of that stuff. But for me, with the amount of rookies coming in, you've got to give them time, you've got to nurture them.
Yeah, like F1 is brutal. And if Jack Doohan came in and wasn't performing to the level that, we kind of expect from a rookie, then I'd say fair enough. But it's, there, some people would argue he didn't hit the levels that he needed to. That's a different debate here. What I'm saying is that he came into the sport with no chance of succeeding. As far as I'm concerned, Jack Doohan could have finished in the points for the first 5 races and still lost his seat. Yeah, but you might disagree, call me crazy. I don't care. That's what I think about the situation. So yeah, like, it is brutal, and people lose their jobs and dreams get ripped away from people that have worked their whole lives towards getting to the pinnacle of motorsport, and that is the sport. But the Jack Doohan situation isn't ordinary, and Briatore just rubbed me up the wrong way, to the point where I didn't even like the fact that he was wearing jeans without socks or shoes. That wound me up. That's uncomfortable. No one likes that.
Yeah, true. Talking of another team principal, Christian Horner. Look, go back to 2021. He was... We couldn't stand the guy.
Don't tell me you felt sorry for him.
No. What I didn't like, and I didn't realise, is... Look, I'm not a Horner fan by any stretch of imagination. However, watching that, when you've had a guy who has committed so much of his time to a team, built that success, brought them world championships, the thing I didn't like is that he wasn't given the time to go and say bye to his team. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean...
That's the part. I mean, he wasn't performing. You do what you need to do. If you need to get rid of someone, absolutely fine. That's it. That's the F1 business. But this is a guy who gave up so much time, but he wasn't allowed to go and say bye to the team that he built.
Christian, I'd fucking bookmark this, because if the truth ever comes out, Christian Horner was not sacked for performance-related issues. I'm sorry, and I know that he even alluded to the fact that wasn't the case in Drive to Survive. But look, I mean, don't get me wrong, I didn't exactly find it a tough watch. I've never sat here and said I like Christian Horner. One thing I have always said is Christian Horner is unbelievable at his job, and just because I enjoyed watching Christian Horner lose his job, doesn't mean that I think he deserved to lose his job. You know, the bit about him and Toto and the combined world championships that they've got between them, unbelievable. Christian Horner should still be leading that Red Bull team. And if not leading that Red Bull team, he should still be in the sport. And this is coming from a guy who really has no love for the man whatsoever. But look, I'm a man about entertainment, meritocracy, and the guy is one of the best in the sport for both of those. You know, he was referred to by Toto as a protagonist, and he's a villain. But he wasn't the villain in the Red Bull story. So I'm not too sure why or what truly went on in that. Whether it was to do with everything that came out around the text messages and blah, blah, blah. But it wasn't performance related. And there is a big part of it that is obviously screaming where he was, you know, pushed out by someone for some reason.
Or, you know, Helmut Marko. There was that clip, wasn't there, about Helmut's doing a lot of interviews here. He's having his say quite a bit. You had the Verstappens. Were they part of it?
Helmut Marko has always just been a fucking disease that you just can't get rid of. He's the herpes of F1. You can't get rid of him. He's incurable. And I know he's gone now, but for so many years, he made so many horrific comments about drivers, you know, young drivers, horrible comments about Lewis Hamilton, horrible comments about his own drivers, his own team. I think for a big part of it, he only made things more difficult for them and worse. And there'll be a lot of people happy that he's not in the sport anymore. And Christian Horner may be one of them. It's just a shame he's not there to sort of be like, I'm free now.
I don't know. I think it's been good for Red Bull getting rid of those. It's a fresh start. I think what Lauren Mekies has done since he's been in the team is he's brought a fresh new era to Red Bull, and I think you saw that with the.
They didn't need it.
No.
They didn't need it. That's like looking at the sidemen and being like, okay, we're going to get rid of JJ because we're going to go for a fresh new era. It's like, well, don't do that. Why would you do that? Like, you know, Red Bull did not need. That's what I mean. If there are more reasons, which I'm sure there are, that we don't know, then fair enough. If it is related to the controversy with all the text messages and whatever, then fine. But Red Bull didn't need a fresh start. They just won 4 back-to-back world championships. You know, granted, everyone suffered in the period of Mercedes domination, not just Red Bull, but Red Bull were eventually the team to dethrone them and then continue that. Prior to the Mercedes domination, Red Bull were the team to beat, having only been in the sport for 5 or 6 years by the time they went on to win a world championship. I don't know. Like I say, I don't know why I speak so passionately on it, because I don't care that Christian Horner has lost his job. But from
somebody's a Horner fan over there.
Just looking at like the pure facts and trying to detach my subjectivity of everything, it just seems ridiculous.
Well, talking of ridiculous, every year Will Buxton comes out with some great one-liners. So, Luke, I've got a little quiz for you. So I'm going to give you some quotes which may or may not have been said by Will Buxton, and I want you to guess whether they're true or false.
Okay, I feel like I'll be quite good at this. Why is he so unnecessarily intense with everything that he says?
It makes me laugh. I find it quite amusing because I find it funny because it triggers so many people. So, are you ready?
Yeah.
Play at home. Do drop a comment. Do let us know. So, the first one: drivers train on a simulator. It's like they're in a real car, but they aren't. Is that a real quote or a fake quote?
Nah, that's a fake quote.
That's a fake quote. Yeah. Right. When the track is wet, it's no longer dry.
Nah, that's fake.
That's a true quote.
No way. He's not said that. When did he say that?
It's I've taken it from Drive to Survive quotes, and I've seen it. It is true.
When the track is wet, it's no longer dry.
Yep.
You heard it from Will Buxton first.
Yep. Right, this one. Red Bull have sacked Horner. That means he no longer works for them.
Well, before the last one, I would have said there's no... true.
That's a fake.
No.
Right. Max is rumoured to go to Mercedes. For this to happen, he would have to leave Red Bull.
I reckon that's real.
That's fake.
Fuck's sake.
To win a race, you have to finish ahead of your opponents.
Now they all sound like something he would say. Yeah, that one is 100% true.
That's true. Right. Colapinto has replaced Doohan. This means Jack won't be racing but Franco will.
Nah, he didn't say that.
That's a fake. Yep. Both McLarens were disqualified. This means they don't get any points.
Yeah, I reckon he said that.
That's a fake.
Oh,
there we go.
but
Will
that's the
Buxton,
problem.
thank you for bringing the quality year in, year out.
I don't know whether like he's been told to say things like just talk to them like they're dumb and they don't understand it. But but he seems he doesn't seem like a bad bloke at all, Will Buxton, but he does come out with some interesting
He's a bit like Michael
one-liners.
Owen of F1, isn't he? Or football.
Yeah.
So,
And I do find some of his commentary pieces, I'm talking Drive to Survive, a little bit like unnecessarily intense.
Yeah. Before we continue, can we just say F1 Fantasy is back up and running. It's 1 week, or it's less than a week now until our first race. So do get involved. Do join our league. We'll put some stories up, and if you don't, just drop it. We'll put it down in the comments. But do join our league. Have you done yours yet, Luke?
No, but I was thinking of doing it live on the show.
Okay, interesting. I've already done mine, but yeah, we can do that.
But obviously, we'll come back to that at the end.
We'll come back. Looking ahead to the race, did you know Valtteri Bottas already has a 5-place grid penalty, which he will have to serve in Australia?
Yes, well, this is off the back of his final race with Stake.
Yep. He had a collision with Magnussen back in 2024 in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. So yeah, he's already got a 5-place grid penalty. So don't you think that's pretty crap though from the FIA? Like, let it go. It's a year and a bit ago. Come on now.
Look, these are the rules. And if you've got a penalty and you haven't served them, it may not seem fair, but imagine if it was just that easy to avoid a penalty.
I mean, yeah, but come on. It's a while ago. Interestingly, talking of Valtteri Bottas and Cadillac, apparently the team are already exhausted. Have you read this?
No, but they can't be any more exhausted than the other teams.
So I'll read out what it says and we can go from there. So the team is exhausted, like they're done. A Cadillac F1 entry is reportedly facing a massive burnout crisis before the 2026 season has even started. Despite a successful testing program in Bahrain with Perez and Bottas, paddock insiders are raising major red flags about the team's transatlantic structure, with operations split across Indiana, North Carolina and the UK. The logistical strain of the working across multiple time zones is reportedly taking a heavy toll on the staff.
Yeah, okay. Well, that I understand. I mean, this is way more, but you remember Haas were operating from different locations and we saw what that did to them as a team. That correct me if I'm wrong, but that was like both European locations. That is incredibly difficult. Like, that will be difficult because you kind of, if you're working exclusively to each other's time zone, as in, say, people in the UK are exclusively working to UK, you're then waiting a day, essentially, for everything that you need. Like, an extra 24 hours if you need something. So, they probably don't have that option, where it's like, okay, just work your own time frames. So, I don't know if they're going to be able to carry on like that, because that's not the way to work.
I mean,
like when in a
can't.
team sport like this, where it's so many moving parts and it all needs to be so cohesive, that is not going to work.
Well, you look at the most successful teams, Ferrari, Mercedes, they all have one base. They all have one base, that's how they work and that's how they get everything done. Having 3 different bases isn't sustainable at all, because, like you say, they're working on different time zones. This is a fast moving business, and from day to day, things change drastically. You can't do that if people are working on all different times, surely.
Yeah, but I mean, look, hopefully it's just teething issues, but I can't imagine it's exactly cheap or easy to completely restructure the operations of your F1 team. But they're going to have to do something to fix that. If, they're not going to be able to carry on all season working like that, or they're certainly not going to be able to operate where they need to be to compete if they're operating like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Lewis Hamilton. So, interesting stat. If Lewis Hamilton leads a race in 2026, he will be the first F1 driver to lead in 20 consecutive seasons, a record that has spanned 2 decades. Pretty mad.
That is quite mad.
I mean, this guy, he's not just going to be doing that. He's going to be leading loads of races. He's going to win the championship, mate.
I mean, he's not the GOAT for no reason.
No.
There's a reason he's got these stats. I think I tell you what, we've obviously seen quite a few people like Alex Albon is convinced that Lewis is going to be great this season. I think I don't know whether he's just doing it to set him up to fail. Maybe he's just trying to add more pressure onto him. But there is obviously quite a lot of speculation around how good this Ferrari is. And there's also, a lot of talk about it suiting Lewis's driving style. We're going to find out everything this week. And so I don't think we need to speculate too hard on that this episode.
And I can't wait for it. So the FIA have announced some changes for the 2026 regulations. Have you seen this?
I haven't.
I'm going to tell you. So the FIA have made changes to the 2026 regulations. So starting from June the 1st, not the summer break, the engines will be tested at 130 degrees as well as ambient temperature. So does that one okay?
Okay, well, I knew that one because that's obviously to do with basically that stops Mercedes' compression ratio trick.
One of the most pointless rules they brought in 2025 was the mandatory 2-stop rule in Monaco. That's been scrapped. That will not be happening this year. Thank God. It was pointless. I like the fact you're trying to change something because the FIA also must have agreed that it is boring. So that's why they tried to change something. So that's been scrapped this year. And
everyone knows that we said on the show that this was not going to solve the issue. The issue is the fact that the cars are like the size of double-decker buses. That's why Monaco is particularly shit. Don't get me wrong. Monaco has never been the best race anyway. It's always been a great weekend. But the fact that the cars are now like twice as big as they used to be, racing is always going to be poor around there.
And finally, Q3 will now be 13 minutes instead of 12 minutes. There you go. There are some of the changes that are coming up, along with the multiple changes and the new regulations for this year. They're just a few little updates from the FIA. I like it.
I mean, there's a lot different this year. There's a lot that us F1 fans are going to have to get our heads around, particularly when it comes to driving. Like, that's where the biggest changes are. We are going to have to really... some of the drivers, there's way more tactics to driving a car now in terms of energy deployment that I think is going to make this season so interesting.
I think it's... As I said last week on the podcast, I'm so looking forward to this season. The winter break has been long. We got last year out of the way. Those set of regulations have gone. We got a brand new era, and for us as fans, if you're not buzzing, you should be, because it's so unpredictable. Normally you go into season, you're kind of going, oh well, they were strong last year, they'll probably continue that. Like sort of McLaren, Red Bull, but this year you have no idea. Have no idea. We come out of testing and we're thinking that Ferrari are probably the favourites alongside potentially Mercedes, but who knows? How do we turn up to Albert Park next week? Completely different circuit to Barcelona and Bahrain. We don't know how how these cars are going to deal with different weather conditions, because rain and these type of things. It's going to be brilliant. I'm really thoroughly looking forward to this season, and I think we are in for a treat. I just hope it lives up to that excitement.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I am most excited about seeing the cars leave the line for the first time. After seeing those practice starts in testing, I cannot wait to see the lights go out for the first time, because what the hell is going to happen? Was that a true reflection of the starts that we're going to see? Obviously, if you're a Ferrari fan, it's looking pretty good for you if that is a true reflection of what we're going to see. But I completely agree. When we get to Australia, look, stranger things have happened. We might get there and Audi might be the fastest team. Teams did not truly reveal their hand at testing, but I do think it gave us a good indication of who's in the right place, who's not in the right place. But we are still in the dark massively. I don't truly believe Mercedes showed their full hand at testing. No. Because there's so much talk around this engine trick, so much talk around it, that there's no smoke without fire. So I'm not saying that everyone knows that they have pulled off this engine trick, but people wouldn't care unless it genuinely gave them an advantage. And throughout the whole of testing, we didn't see that advantage. I think when we get to Australia, we're going to see the true impact of this trick. So I think it's things like that we haven't seen. But, Ferrari may not have been running the engine at full power. Red Bull, we just don't know. And that's why all of you, I'm sure, are sitting at home absolutely buzzing for this week.
Quickly, before we talk about Australia, obviously 24 races, what race, or give me your top three, what top three races are you most looking forward to this season? Do drop a comment as well, but Luke, what are the top three?
It's pretty much the same for me most seasons. I would say Silverstone. I am a sucker for Bahrain. I'm sorry, I just am. I just love Bahrain. And then it's going to be Brazil. But so many, Adam Mate asked me yesterday, what's the best European F1 race to go and watch? And I was like, Spa or Monza. They're the two best. He's going to Barcelona. I was like, to be fair, I probably would have put that in P3. So there's so many races that I'm looking forward to. But yeah, I love Bahrain because I think it's a great night race. It's a good track to overtake. I think we've seen some great racing there. I love Silverstone because, come on, it's normally a top 3 race every single season. And then Brazil it's Brazil.
Yeah, I would. So obviously we got Madrid this year, first race. I can't say I'm looking forward to that, but it'd be interesting to see what that track is like. But for me, it is Brazil. Brazil is up there all day long. I am a sucker for Qatar. I don't know why. I just love that track. It's just something about that track which I really enjoy. I really also enjoy Saudi. I just love that track as well. The fast pace, it always delivers. But yeah, the likes of Silverstone, Monza, that lot. But yeah, for me, those three are probably my favourite. I'm most looking forward to.
That's a very interesting choice. Comment down below why you disagree with Matt's choices.
Why would you disagree? They're good tracks. Are they not?
Yeah, but top. Okay, Brazil, I agree, but Qatar is a great track to watch the cars go around, but I still don't think we've seen great racing there.
Let me have it. Just let me have it, all right?
They're just weird choices. We got some fantastic tracks on the calendar, and I'm not sure I'd put them up there. But I do want to speak to you about something.
Okay.
Did you see the clip of Lando Norris?
No.
Going to take that as a no. Lando Norris believes Lewis Hamilton should be an 8-time world champion.
Ah, yes, I know what you're talking about. He was on a stage, wasn't he? Or he was doing some sort of talk show or something.
There was some sort of talk, live event with Zach Brown, Lando Norris, and I can't remember the video in full, but essentially, I think it was mentioned that Lewis was a 7-time world champion, and someone said should have been 8, and then Lando said it should have been 8, and then Zach nodded and agreed as well. We all know the truth. I'm not going to go down that route. But Lando Norris, you are working your way into the good books, my friend, because, I know you admitted it earlier this season. You said some stupid things about Lewis, Max even, over the years. But now as you're maturing into a young man, a world champion young man, might I add, you are finally seeing the light and speaking the truth. I've said it how many times? No one, other than George Russell, has come out and spoken the truth about what happened that night. But anyway, Lando Norris has confirmed it, so Lewis is an 8-time world champion. We move on. Let's talk about Australia.
Done. Podcast over. Thanks so much for listening. Right, Australia. This is exciting. I love talking about this. Race week. Let's quickly go through it. So, FP1, it's an early one. If you're in the UK, it is an early one. But do drop us a comment. Do let us know where you're watching it around the world. And do let us know what time it is where you're going to be watching it. But for us in the UK, so FP1 on Friday is 1:30 until 2:30. On Friday, it's then FP2 is 5 till 6. Then on Saturday morning, FP3 is 1:30 till 2:30. Qualifying is 5 till 6 a.m. And then the race on Sunday is 4 until 6 a.m. It is an early start. It is an early start.
Could have just made it 5.
Yeah.
At least start the race at 5, not 4, because that means I got to wake up like 3:45, which is...
It's an early one. It is an early one.
Oh,
but do you know what? I'm that excited. I don't have an issue getting up that early. I don't have an issue. Ask me later on in the season, and if it's really boring, it's a bore fest, then I have an issue. But I don't have an issue this year. I'm excited.
Yeah, look, I will gladly wake up for it. I'm just saying you could have made it at least an hour later. There
you go. If you want to change it for Luke, there you go. But the all-important question, Luke, and let's delve into this. We'll touch off with the race, and then I've got a few questions to ask you about, what's your predictions for this year's championship?
We also have to write our predictions this week.
And I realised I don't have a piece of paper.
You haven't got a piece of paper anywhere?
Well, I probably have somewhere, but I'm...
Have you got a receipt from the dodgy DVD store that you always visit?
The dodgy what?
DVD store.
I mean, they don't even do DVD stores anymore, do they?
Yeah, I know.
Could I write it on my passport? No, I can't write it on my passport.
I've got some paper.
All right.
Look at that. I've got a card and a big pen.
Okay. Well, do you mind if I quickly run and get a piece of paper while you continue talking?
Okay, guys, what should we talk about? I know what we'll do. Before we get into Australia, I'm going to pick my fantasy team. Now, there will be a link, as Matt said, down below in the description where you can join our F1 Fantasy League. The prize is pride if you win it, which, trust me, is everything in life. So you get $100 million to spend. And this is where it starts to get a little bit difficult. It's interesting now because I'm looking at this and you get to see the percentage of people who have picked certain people. So interestingly, Nico Hulkenberg has been picked by 37% of people. Charles Leclerc, 32% versus Lewis Hamilton's 15%. and Charles Leclerc costs 300,000 more. But what I find most interesting is that Max Verstappen is 27%, which is 5% less than Charles Leclerc. More people have picked Valtteri Bottas than Max Verstappen, which is crazy. But
I'm wondering if that's because of the actual amount of money.
No, I think what that tells us is that people are not sure who is going to go on to win races at this point in time. Because come on, right? Last season, Max Verstappen would have been the most expensive driver on the grid, right? At the start. And I bet he was the most picked driver. If there was a clear favourite at this point in time, who we knew was going to win races, they'd be the most picked. But you know where I'm starting. My first pick is going to be Sir Lewis Hamilton. Of course. 22.5 million. Now, I forgot you have to buy a team as well, don't you?
You have to buy two teams. So 5 drivers, 2 teams.
More people have picked Isaac Hadjar than Max Verstappen. I'm not sure I can get on board with that.
It's an interesting one because I've gone for Lewis Hamilton and I've got Max Verstappen in my team. I don't think you can rule out Max Verstappen. Even in a new era car, you can't rule him out.
Yeah. I think you'd be crazy
100%
to rule out Max Verstappen. I am going to pick Ollie Behrman.
I've got Ollie Behrman
and I'll tell
in
you why. I'll tell you why he's a great choice. If those start procedures are anything to go by, Haas have a Ferrari engine, he's going to be straight to the front. I want George Russell. I'm going George Russell. I want George Russell in my team. The Williams, I'm not too convinced on Williams at the moment. They haven't sold me in testing. Again, we don't know what we can see with this Mercedes engine trick, and if it does pull through, then okay, they might be a great cop, but I'm not sure I saw enough from them in pre-season testing to be willing to spend nearly 12 million on either Carlos Sainz or Alex Albon. Have you got either of the Williams drivers?
No.
Interesting.
Shall I tell you who I've got?
Yeah, tell me your team.
So I've got Lewis Hamilton, I've got Max Verstappen, Ollie Behrman, Nico Hülkenberg, and Valtteri Bottas, just simply because I didn't have enough money. And I've got as my 2 constructors, I've got Ferrari and the RBs.
Okay, interesting.
The issue is Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen cost me quite a bit of money there. That was almost that was almost 45, 50 million just gone there.
They are expensive. And I mean, look, F1 is clearly going off the results from last year because, well, no, here's where it's a bit confusing. Mercedes are the most expensive, but Ferrari are the cheapest out of the top 4.
Yeah.
Yet in testing, we saw them be the strongest.
They've got to be going on from last year, like where they were in the constructors and stuff. They've got to be.
But you would have McLaren at the top then.
True, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
I'm going Ferrari, and I'm going Haas. And now
Haas isn't a bad shout, to be fair. Haas is not a bad shout with that Ferrari engine.
I've only got 12 million to spend on 2 drivers. And trust me, I'm not going anywhere near Aston Martin. But I'm gonna have an issue.
Stroll?
I'm gonna have to pick both the Cadillac drivers.
That's risky having both of them. I
know.
That's why I end up just splitting my drivers across the. The only 2 I have of the same is Lewis Hamilton and Ferrari. That's the only same I have. The rest of them, I learnt last year that was a bit risky for me having so many of the same people.
Yeah, but I spent so much money on George Russell and Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, I mean that's. How much was George?
George was 23 He was expensive, 27.4 million.
So he's 0.3. He's 300,000 less than Max Verstappen. How do you work that out?
He's the second most expensive driver.
Mental.
Do you know what? I'm going to firm it. Cadillac have a Ferrari engine.
Yeah.
They've got 2 experienced drivers. I'll do it for the first weekend, and I will assess. I am really banking on Ferrari power here. I've got 4 Ferrari drivers, 2 Ferrari engine constructors, and then George Russell. Interesting.
That's
okay.
Yeah, not bad side, not bad. I think after the first one, we'll have a better understanding of where we're going to go with that.
Yes.
Right. Shall we get into what do you want to do first? Do you want to go our top 3 for this weekend's Grand Prix, or should we get into the main topic? Who is our world champion, constructors champion? Who's going to be the first driver to be dropped? And I was about to say who's the rookie of the season, but we've only got 1 rookie this year, so we can't.
So I reckon it's going to be Arvid Lindblad. I think let's do Australia first.
Okay. Right. So, Luke, for the first time this season, who is your top 3 for this weekend's Australian Grand Prix?
It's tough. By the way, I'm not like ignoring you. I'm just creating this account.
Yeah, it's good. It's not like you're doing a live podcast, is it?
No, but I don't want my team to like expire. Do you know what I mean? I've just made them.
Fair.
My top 3. Well, look. I'm gonna say Lewis Hamilton, first place. P1.
Yes, I'm with you on it, mate. I've said it. I'm with you. Don't back yourself, mate. Back yourself. Lewis Hamilton, yes.
There's no reason why Lewis cannot win, and I think we're gonna. Okay, here it goes. Lewis, Charles, Max Verstappen.
Where's the McLarens?
Yeah, where are they? I don't know. Look. This one is really a wild pick. This one I'm going. Ferrari were on paper the quickest team at testing. Therefore, Ferrari have to go in P1, P2. Okay, that's just me using common sense. Now, you might say, well, you've kind of failed the common sense argument there because you've put Lewis ahead of Charles. True, but I'm always going to back my boy over Charles Leclerc. Now, the Max Verstappen thing, despite my earlier Mercedes engine comments, he's Max Verstappen. I don't know, even if his car has 3 wheels, he'll somehow make it onto the podium. That guy just does it. So, yeah, until I see that Red Bull really is not capable of getting there, I'm going to expect to see Max Verstappen on the podium most races.
Okay. Look, I know I've said Lewis Hamilton will win the championship. I'm not so sure he's going to win this race, okay? So, hear me out. P1, Charles Leclerc. P2, Lewis Hamilton. P3, George Russell.
If Ferrari get a 1-2 next race, or first race, if Ferrari get a 1-2 at Australia, Matt will film the next podcast naked.
Yeah, right.
There you go.
Mate,
you heard it here first.
I'd be delighted.
He's a man of his word as well. He's got a Nicholas Latifi tattoo on his arm. So
I didn't do that. No, I'd be delighted. I'd be well happy. I will be well happy if they get a nice little 1-2 to start the season. I'll be buzzing with that.
This is a good one for Australia, right? Because obviously it's pure speculation, us going into this. based on expectation. Okay, so not, don't say Aston Martin for this or like Fernando Alonso, Lance Stroll, because we're expecting them to be shit. Who's going to have a stinker in qualifying?
That's a good one. I think someone like Colapinto.
Why? What, do you reckon he'll crash or something?
Yeah, I know Alpine were bad last year, but I don't know. I just didn't fill me with confidence that even though they were that bad, he still was good enough. If that makes sense.
I reckon Isaac Hadjar is going to have a poor. I think Isaac Hadjar is going to break the curse, this Red Bull second seat curse. But I think just to have us start playing into the storyline, something's going to go wrong for him.
He can't have another stinker in Australia. He had that last year.
Yeah, but hopefully he doesn't cry again this time.
Yeah, no, he can't have another stinker.
But I've just got a feeling. But I do think Isaac Hadjar is going to look way more competent than a Red Bull second driver has since Sergio Perez was good.
Yeah, I agree. Right, let's get into. Do let us know who your top three is for the Australian Grand Prix. But Luke, the all important question. I've got a piece of paper. All right. So,
yeah. Have you got a pen,
mate? Got a pen. Who is? I know. Right. Oh yeah, I'll wait for that. Who will win the 2026 Formula? Whoa, that was not very good at all, was it? Who will win the 2026 F1 World Championship? Drivers' World Championship.
Okay. 2026 WDC. I am writing Sir Lewis.
Mate, I'm with you on that one. Lewis Hamilton is on my paper. It's happening. It's happening. He's winning his 9th world title. Yep, I've got it. Oh, I can't show you the other one, but Lewis Hamilton there. Very happy with that.
It's happening.
Yeah,
it is. I think. Here's what I think. I think we're going to see a 3-way title battle between Lewis, Charles, and George Russell.
Oh, nice. I'll be well happy with that. But Lewis comes out on top, yeah?
Yeah, Lewis is... the thing is, right, I'd be happy for any of them to win a world championship. But once they're going up against Lewis, I'll probably hate the pair of them.
Yeah. Right. Lewis is winning it. Lewis is winning it. Look, as I said, last year we were wrong, okay? We got it really wrong. But that's because we were off by a year, okay? We're in the right year now. This is the year Lewis Hamilton is going to win his 8th world title. It's happening, okay?
Crystal Ball just needed a software update, that's all.
Yeah, I mean, it told me 2026. I misread it. So, who will win the Constructors' World Championship this year?
2026.
This is a tough one. I'm torn between two teams here.
And I'm going to say the teams are Mercedes and Ferrari.
Yeah. I want to put Ferrari down, but I don't want to look so stupid that I'm literally just going all in. Do you know what? No, stuff it. I'm going all in.
Look, again, all we have to go off at this point in time, if you're going to type nasty comments, is testing. Ferrari were the quickest car in testing. If you look at those race starts, Ferrari were stupid off the line. I think you just have to work with what you've got. That's the only information that we have at this point in time. So also, call us crazy, but we are both putting...
We've got to back it. If we're supporting them and the car's looking good, begin the season, let's back it, let's own it. Hamilton to win the World Drivers' Championship, Ferrari to win the Constructors' World Championship. There we go. Happy days. For us, the Tifosi will be delighted. We'll be delighted. Happy days. Do let us know. Right. Final one. First driver to be dropped?
Wow.
This was an easy one for you.
It's an easy one for you. I think it's gonna be one of the Alpine boys. You're gonna put Colapinto.
I've got Franco Colapinto. And you know what? I thought about it because I was like, okay, well, it won't be Lance Stroll because he's got a lifetime deal. He's not going anywhere. Yeah. It won't be the likes of Alonso. You know, Lindblad, it could be him, depending on how bad. But RB are very good at nurturing a team and actually giving them time to gel from that aspect.
And Arvid Lindblad has looked really good as well. Like I don't expect him to come in and even perform badly, let alone lose his seat. Because I think even if he was, they wouldn't get rid of him.
Exactly. You know, Kimi, George are fine. Max and Isaac will be fine. The two Cadillac drivers, Perez, Bottas, they'll be fine because it's their gelling season. Bortoletto showed me enough last year that he's going to go on and be a great talent, and Hulkenberg will be fine. So the way Alpine manage, I think if Franco Colapinto doesn't get off the mark in the first few races, he's gone. For me, he's the first driver to be gone.
Controversial one. Esteban Ocon.
Ooh. Okay, interesting.
Look, Ocon's performance last season, for me, it kind of came down as the season progressed. And Ollie Behrman really started showing a bit more potential. And I know Haas don't necessarily... But here's the thing. They might need two drivers that are capable of going full send. Esteban Ocon may not be up to that level if they are in a position where they're fighting for points. But on the basis that Flavio Briatore is an absolute loose cannon, and he clearly thinks that no matter what piece of shit they've given the drivers, that it's their fault if they're not scoring points.
Definitely.
I hate to be boring, but I've got to agree with you. I would say Colapinto.
I think
again, I know I've got a bit of history of Colapinto fans, right? And I love your passion, okay? But why has my computer just locked itself? I only care about that because I'm recording audio. I still stand by the fact I want Colapinto to succeed. I just worry that he didn't show enough last season, and if he carries on the same as he did last season, based on that what we've seen behind the scenes, what Briatore is like, he will not last. But I really hope this prediction is wrong.
Yeah. Well, I've written on the front of this to be opened at the end of the season. So I will go and store that away. We'll open it up at the end of the season. Let's hope we're right. And to be fair, who is your constructors? Ferrari.
Yeah.
Mate, we've literally
I want to add one.
We've literally just got the same thing here.
Yeah, I know. That's why I want to. We've written the same three things. We should add some more. Okay. Most podiums for a non-Big Four team.
Oh, okay.
So, no Red Bull, no McLaren, no Ferrari, no Mercedes.
Okay. Good one, that. I'm going to go...
I'll tell you what, that's what I really want to see more of this season. I do not want to see the same four teams up on that podium.
No.
Week in, week out. You know, I want to see Audi, Alpine, Aston Martin, I want to see every team getting up to that top step, because there's just carnage and chaos. And we just, you know, the order is changing week in, week out. I would love that so much.
So who have you got then? If we get this same, right, mate, if we get this, we may as well just chuck one of our pieces of paper away and just keep it on one piece of paper.
Ollie Behrman.
Oh, that's a good shout. This is all right. We can keep our own pieces of paper here because we've got two different drivers, so we're winning here. I've got Carlos Sainz.
Oh, yeah. I mean, in terms of driver,
I think if anyone can do it, it is Carlos Sainz.
yeah, yeah. No, I don't disagree. The only thing, like I said, based off what I saw, I didn't see enough from Williams in pre-season testing. So, but I agree with you. If a driver is going to be able to do it, you know, he got 2 podiums last season in that Williams.
Yeah,
That is, yeah, that's an unbelievable feat, by the way, which
100%.
Probably goes underappreciated.
Yep.
Okay, you've got to hit us with one more.
I want to do something about a winner, a surprise winner, like not your top 4, not the likes of. Okay, so taking away Max Verstappen, Leclerc, Lewis, Lando, Oscar.
George and Kimi?
No, because Kimi hasn't won, so Kimi would still be a big.
Yeah, but Kimi's going to be in that. Yeah, but then Kimi's the easy answer because he's in the Mercedes. I would be surprised if Kimi Antonelli didn't win a race this season.
You could go Isaac Hadjar.
That's true.
So the top 6, is it top 6? Lewis, George, Charles, Max, Lando, Oscar.
That would be your top 6.
Yeah. Okay. So not top 6 winner. So for me, I think Hadjar.
I think Kimi.
Oh, go on then.
I think Kimi will get a win this year.
He needs
and I'm going to love it when he does.
He needs it. He needs to prove himself.
He does need it.
Big year for Kimi.
He will need a big season this year. Kimi Antonelli has no excuses this season to be that far away from George Russell. No excuses. You know, I'm not saying he has to match George. I'm not saying he has to be really close to George, but he has to be much closer to George. There is no excuse.
You happy with this then? So, world champion, constructors, first driver to be dropped.
I have one more.
Oh, I haven't got much paper left, yeah?
Most DNFs.
Oh.
Driver. Oh, hang on. You're coming out of a... Let me just swap my AirPods.
Most
Try not to speak.
Hello?
I got you back.
Good. Most DNFs.
Oh, but you're still coming out of my phone for whatever reason because these AirPods are fucking shit. Oh, I got you.
Most DNFs.
You know what I'm going for?
Well, the easy one would be Colapinto, but part of me...
Fucking hell. He's like the new Lando Norris for you, isn't he?
All right, I've got an answer.
Okay. Incredible if we got the same driver.
Sergio Perez.
Oh, I went Lance Stroll.
Oh, that's not a bad shout either. That's not a bad shout.
I was thinking, number one, I'm not even sure the Aston Martin will make it round races a lot of the time. Number two, I think if it's that bad, sometimes he'll just do what he likes to do and just park it in the gravel for fun. And just get up and fuck off.
No, I've gone Sergio Perez. I don't know. Something about it. I just think Sergio Perez this year, most DNFs, has issues with the cars. Yeah. There we go.
Okay. Well, look, I'm locking this. I've written this on a piece of card, by the way.
Where are you hiding yours?
Is it in the cupboard?
Oh, that cupboard.
Open when? When do we open it?
Well, it's the end of the season, isn't it? So I'll just put to be opened at the end of the season. do let us know. Do get involved whether you agree. I've got one more question, Luke.
Mm-hmm.
And a few people sent in some questions, but I want you to answer this one. Jeans said, Ferrari hype train real. Is it real?
It's as real as we want it to be. If we keep it alive, it's real.
Mate, I'm driving the train, okay? I'm driving that train.
All episode. All we have to go off at this point in time is testing. So if this is the most amount of enjoyment that we can get out of this season as Ferrari fans, you best believe me.
Yep.
We're going to be enjoying it.
Yeah, I'll take it. Riley_Mills has said, predict race and quali head-to-head for Lewis and Charles. Charles, I think quali will outperform Lewis, especially after the last few seasons with Lewis's qualifying. But that may change this year. We don't know. And Charles is quick over one lap. Charles is very quick over one lap. But I think for me, Lewis will always edge it in race pace. If he's given a good car and they're equal and they're both on it, Lewis's race pace over a season will be much better.
Yeah, I'd probably go the same. You know, I think Charles has shown that qualifying is... He's so quick. He's really good. He's super impressive over one lap. And so is his race pace. But I still think there were many signs last season where you saw Lewis, when he was clicking with that car, his race pace was great. But I'm really excited for this Charles Lewis battle this year, because Lewis looked a lot happier with the car coming, into testing. Charles has always had this huge expectation over him that we can all be honest and say he hasn't lived up to. Charles Leclerc has not fulfilled his potential, whereas Lewis Hamilton has probably exceeded potential. He's done things beyond the imagination of any F1 driver. But it's going to be great to see. I want Charles to live up to that expectation. I want to see the best from Charles Leclerc, and I think who better to prove it against than Lewis Hamilton?
100%.
And because last season, say what you like about it, Charles did great, wiped the floor with Lewis, whatever, great. We need to see them in battle. That's when we'll truly see.
It means nothing if you're fighting for a P4, P5, P6, 7, whatever. It doesn't make a difference. It's when you're challenging for a championship, challenging for those podiums week in, week out. That's where it really matters. But Charles did great last year. Take nothing away from him. But you're fighting for the championship. That's what you're going for, not for a P4, whatever.
And look, anyone that comes out and says, oh, Lewis Hamilton was better than Charles Leclerc last season has clearly got some sort of brain injury. Because Charles was... Evidently, Stevie Wonder could have seen that he was the superior driver. There was no, grey area there. It was black and white. But let's see how it goes when there's some jeopardy involved.
Yeah, I agree. Right, that is the end of the podcast. Our next episode, we would have had our race. We would have seen Lewis Hamilton on the podium. Everything will be back to normal. So... I'm buzzing for it. So we'll be back next week reviewing the Australian Grand Prix. But do check us out on all social media. We'll be posting on there. So keep up to date on there. But really excited for the season to get back. Luke, I shall see you next week. And yes. Everyone have a good week. Enjoy it. F1 is back. Happy days.